In Korea, they have Gangnam Style, but in America, we have Open Freedom Style. Takes me back to college. I love that song, for the record, Gangnam Style. I think it's fun, hilarious. Also, I'm biased because, like, that was the #1 song in all the bars and clubs when I was growing up, so I dated myself, but it's a fun song. Now, there is a lot going on, and I have to try and get through it before the TikTok SS fascists are going to come out and censor me here. So, let's dive right into it. The biggest thing is that Rumeysa Ozturk was ordered to be freed by the judge. Huge news. The judge specifically said that there was absolutely no evidence against her. The Justice Department provided absolutely nothing. The only thing they provided was her op-ed, which are basically calling for freedom in Gaza and freeing Palestine. That was it. So she was ordered to be freed. Now, here's where it gets scary. The government apparently has still not released Rumeysa Ozturk, even though they were ordered to by the judge. There is concern that there's some rat fuckery happening right now, that maybe they are trying to, get her on a plane and get her out of the country. Very scary times indeed. We should be prepared to fight that, and we need to make sure that we are calling these people out. We need to name and shame them. We need to know who these pilots are. We need to know who these ICE agents are that are detaining her. We need to know who her prison guards are. We need to be naming and shaming every single one of them. Up next. This is breaking news. Mayor of New Jersey, not New Jersey, but a city in New Jersey, forgive me, I can't remember which one, I didn't write it down. Ras Baraka was recently arrested. He, as well as a few Congress members, went to an ICE detention facility. They had a scheduled appointment. ICE apparently refused to cooperate, so he was not taking no for an answer since they had every right, and this was a scheduled appointment. They can't just simply turn him down. So he tried to get into the facility, and the ICE agents kidnapped him and arrested him. These people are using masks. They are completely anonymous. They are completely unaccountable. And this is the fascist police state that we live in. Police states continue to get more funding. They continue to get less accountability while we're losing resources that we need for things like childcare, for things like healthcare, education, affordable housing. All this stuff is out the window in favor of these completely fascist brown shirts. So this is very concerning, and we should be pressuring the state. We should be pressuring federal facilities. We should be calling our lawmakers. And this is... Do I want to get to this yet? No, I'll come back to this in a minute. I had a point I was going to make there, but I'll come back to it. But the Democratic establishment needs to take a stand on this. This mayor, by the way, is a Democrat. So where is the party loyalty here? Where is the party allegiance, if not to protecting the very people that put their lives on the line in order to protect us from these MAGA Gestapo? This is also very much an escalation, very similar to the judge that was arrested in Wisconsin. Now, if you remember the judge, forgive me, I can't remember her name. I think its last name is Dugan, if I remember correct. So she was the one who was arrested because ICE claimed that she was obstruction of justice, something to that effect, even though all she did was excuse the accused to go out through the main doors and through the main elevator. That's not exactly obstruction. She didn't exactly have a secret tunnel where you pull a book on a shelf and they go down to the Batcave. That's not what happened. So it's completely ridiculous. But this is the escalation. This is the fascism that we are seeing, and we need to be able to stop calling me people. We need to be able to fight back and fight this off. We'll come back to that point later. Stephen Miller, of course, the Dracula abortion baby that survived himself, is calling for suspending habeas corpus. Now, habeas corpus is where you have an opportunity for, if you are detained, you can petition the judge to demand that the people detaining you bring you before court, and you can determine whether or not they have an actual right and legal grounds to have you detained. Stephen Miller wants to suspend habeas corpus. So basically, everything that they lied about that was happening to the January 6th terrorists is happening to actual Americans right now. These people are not given habeas corpus. They are not given due process. Every single thing that the MAGA mob complained about that was supposedly happening to them was total bullshit. They had some of the best representation possible. They had some of the best public defenders possible within that jurisdiction, which folks like you and I would never get, by the way. And now They're just kidnapping people off the streets, chucking them in a bus, and sending them to a different prison, to a different state, or to a different country entirely. That is absolutely the opposite of what the January 6th terrorists, pedophiles, rapists, and murderers and wife beaters got treated with. They got the fucking red carpet, by comparison, of legal process. Moving on. I stumbled there on my speech. Now, here's where I was coming back to. The Democratic establishment has been completely and totally useless. They are neutered. They are starstruck. They are deers in the headlights in this absolute freight train of fascism that is barreling down on us. And frankly, Schumer and Jeffries have to go. There is no other option. They are not prepared to meet this moment. They are not escalating the fight in the way that we should be. They are not even meeting the very demands of their constituents, which is to call for a ceasefire and ending of the bombs going to Israel to bomb Gaza. That is what is happening right now. We must fight to get rid of them. If we don't get rid of them, then the party we have no future. We might as well just capitulate right now. But that's not what we're going to do because we are Americans. We don't bow down to fascists. We fight them. We fight them on the beaches, in the air, on the land, and in the sea, and everywhere in between. And that's what we're going to have to do. Resistance is key. We are seeing some very new developing elements of resistance. Now, this is not something that I am condoning. For the record, I am pointing this out simply for observational facts of what is happening on the ground. You're seeing a lot of these encampments, especially at UCLA. They're able to fight off the pigs. They're actually able to expel them from the grounds and push them back. Keep in mind, LAPD out here gets $1 billion nearly in funding, and they couldn't handle a crowd of students making finger painting. Why are we sending the money to these folks who can barely even solve 3% of crimes? And keep in mind, the LAPD has consistently planted evidence, faked testimony. They have pressured witnesses to not testify in favor of defendants, and yet they still only can barely clear 3%. They have like the entire, not just a cheat sheet, they have the answers to a math test, and they are failing. We should not be increasing the budget for LAPD. We should be sending it where it needs. Now, these encampments were eventually pushed out, so what we're seeing now, there was a recent, and again, this is observation, this is simple fact of what is happening on the ground. These people in, I believe it was New York, I can't remember if it was Columbia or somewhere else, it might have been Tufts, I'm not sure. So, they are saying be water. Don't let yourself get kettled, don't let yourself get arrested. If there is something happening on the ground, and you are outnumbered and you are not going to win, flee the scene, get away, and then regroup and protest again elsewhere. That is the best thing that you can do. We have to slow down. We have to stall this fascist regime. So what happened here recently is that one of the encampments were taking control of a building. They were occupying a building, and in order for them to make their escape, a fire broke out at one of the barricades. This actually stalled the police so that they could not enter the building, giving the students the time to flee. These are a lot of tactics that are happening. I am not saying that I am in favor of it. I much prefer simple mass protests and basic get into good trouble like John Lewis. However, these are the facts. These are things that are happening. I'm going to end this stream and I'll do a Q&A after because I don't know when the TikTok fascists are coming after me.